What's going on, Space Mob? Welcome to another episode of the AST Space Odyssey podcast. Glad to be back after some little home renovations and office renovations. We had to put it on hold for a little, but we plan to bring this right back, firing at it. We love making this podcast, bringing content to you guys, and we think it's important that there's as much ASTS content out there as possible because it never hurts to have too much. The more people that are kind of informed on what this company is doing, I think in the long run we'll be better off. So a lot of crazy news like this week, just very cool stuff. And so what we're going to go through the FCC chairman and Senator Ted Cruz visiting the AST headquarters. And then we're going to go into why this might possibly lead to the Golden Dome contract. This is all speculation, nor investment advice. This is just things that SpaceMob and myself have been able to piece together. Then we're going to go over the Rakuten conference, which was sick seeing a CEO pump us up. And then we're going to just talk about the kind of FirstNet testing and what this can apply. And then just a few updates on the stock price and overall market. So let's dive right in. We're going to... So, big visits this week. Big visits from FCC Chairman Brendan Carr and United States Senator Ted Cruz. So, when I saw that tweet go up that they're doing like a full tour with CEO Abel, that just made me feel so much more bullish because, like, why else would someone that's pretty much in charge of the FCC and then a predominant senator who's really into United States defense are visiting our headquarters for a comprehensive walkthrough. And then, like, once that ended, we saw that they did the walkthrough. Brendan Carr then went ahead and posted 2 tweets. It was showcasing, hey, we visited this plant in Texas. It's made in America, and they're doing big things. And this is what it looks like to make it America and bring kind of like defense contractors just right within our own country. And I like that he said that. He's like, the Trump administration is adding rocket fuel to the American space economy. So I think this is just a whole like defensive initiative by the Trump administration to use these tools that we have in space to really help our defense and get the country jobs that it deserves. And I come from like a strong marketing background, which is kind of like how I've been able to build this page and such. And I truly think that the entire like Twitter or X marketing behind AST is incredible. Because like this tweet by Brendan Carr got almost 300,000 views, and it's been up for like a day and a half. The Ted Cruz, who also tweeted about this, his is over 100,000. When AT&T or Rakuten tweets about AST, that's the most engagement they get on any of their posts. So I think it's really worth noting kind of the contribution of SpaceMob here and the contribution of all of us on X, because we're making almost every news piece about AST go viral, which is something you don't really see among companies. Yeah, most companies have retail investors. It's more official. We don't really see something to this scale. So seeing like the FCC chairman and Ted Cruz tweet, and those tweets just get like pumped out of the water, I think that shows a good sign to them because they know it's backed. And it shows a great sign to us because it shows us that we're getting eyes on this technology. And within like the video, it just started right away. America's space economy is booming again. And it's just great to see a company here in America booming. And then at the like close out of the video, they say that technology like this will help national security and make sure we're ahead of China. So like going into this meeting and going in through this walkthrough, they were kind of already fully aware that this is a defense play here. And I assume a lot of the conversations they might have had with Abel or the team were regarding this because government defense contractors is where the money is. The government has a lot of money to spend on war and developing our systems, that this thing, if we just keep these relations up, and once these satellites are up and functioning, while we already received a government prime contract, we are in the perfect spot. And I think just all of this really does a great job at aligning with the current admin's priorities. They really want to create American jobs, as we can see, and they want them to be yesterday. With a plant like this, who's making this many satellites, this is going to make so many jobs, especially as they grow and they're working with billions of users at the same time, government contracts everywhere for defense or communication. So just having this big, brilliant team to be able to build these out and engineer is really going to set us apart. And it does seem like on X, it does seem like other senators are visiting defense contractors, which really makes you think what the motive behind this was. Like, was it a random visit? Probably not. Was there a motive that is going to help the U.S. government get what they want? Probably. So Senator Lindsey Graham paid a visit to Palmer Luckey, who is also an investor in AST, which is very cool, to his drone company, Anduril. And they're a drone government contractor and ships and such. So it just makes you think now, we're sending out senators to go check in on these big companies that can make resources for our government to use? And could they be striking deals and trying to get something? Because with the Golden Dome system that we've been seeing a lot of talk about, it does seem like that something like AST as the dome structure, and then maybe drones to intercept missiles if something like that were to ever happen. Because that's the kind of whole purpose of like the Golden Dome, is to have like a dome over America that if anyone ever launches anything at us, there will be a way to detect it early and also be able to shoot those missiles down. So when it comes to the Golden Dome, I think there's a piece of the puzzle in there for us, but there's also going to be a piece of the puzzle we'll need other companies. And it would be cool if it's a company that's already, where the CEO is already invested in us. Just makes for great partnerships. And at the end of the day, I really do think ASTS will turn out to be a strategic national asset. Because if you have something like this and we're pumping money into AST to build these domes and protection and such and provide communication anywhere in the world, this is going to be like an asset that the government has never seen. And we obviously right now want to stay ahead of every other country to just build the American powerhouse. And I think this just adds another sense of security. So with those visits, it does seem like the Golden Dome talks are kind of more likely, but like also there's nothing guaranteed here. So I did see that Senator Ted Cruz, who did do the visit, he advocated for funding all the way back to 2014 on Israel's Iron Dome. So he has spoken to the Senate floor about it and kind of the crucial of how important this is. And he highlights the system's success, how it's been able to intercept over 2,500 rockets. And in 2021, he also co-introduced the Emergency Resupply for Iron Dome Act. So it just shows that he's very aware of this technology, because Israel uses this Iron Dome to protect it from attacks. And he has advocated to the U.S. Senate many times that he thinks this is crucial and important. So once we kind of get this to America and they're asking around, knowing Ted Cruz has like visited and talked to CEO, when it comes time for this, I think we're in a good spot. So now that we're just talking about the Golden Dome and why AST is a good fit, let's talk about what it even is. So it's just a U.S. initiative to protect the entire homeland from ballistic, hypersonic, and cruise missiles. It uses space-based sensors, AIs, lasers, and interceptors to counter threats from nations like China, Russia, and North Korea, as an example. So it's inspired by Israel's Iron Dome, and it aims to cover 3.8 million square miles. So you can kind of see a little illustration here. It's just going to be these like satellite beams, which I think will be hopefully bluebirds, and they'll be able to, with their size of their array, be able to kind of intercept or be able to see anything that's flying there. So if a missile is coming our way, AST will be able to know because they have satellite up here, Earth down here. When something intercepts these bands, they will be able to see that. And one thing kind of that's been playing out with this, and why I do think this is very possible, is because that Elon Musk tweeted that he's not bidding for this, which is insane. That there's going to be billions and billions and billions of dollars pumped into this. And he just tweeted, yeah, we're not placing a bid on this. We would rather focus on going to Mars, which is ultimately the goal of SpaceX. So if they're turning down kind of these government opportunities that they could have and probably get approved for, it just shows you that ASTS might be the go-to for this. So between like the tech capabilities, the approvals that we already have with the FCC and such, the government military and testing that we've already been doing, some of these ongoing contracts, and our scalable manufacturing right here in America, I truly believe that this puts us as a good candidate for at least part of this puzzle. If not, maybe a smaller contract to do testing. But once they kind of see our technology compared to others for testing this, I think it's a home run. So as like thesis has been kind of formed when Elon said he's not bidding, FCC visits AST HQ, and then yesterday, big headline comes out: Congress spending Congress defense package of $150 billion to be pushed to the floor, and right within there says $27 billion will be allocated to the Golden Dome, which is insane. $27 billion. And if you think about the structure of this thing, AST will play one of the biggest roles in this, because we will have the dome that does all the reading. Yeah, we might not have the capabilities to shoot down missiles because we're not really a missile or interception company, but we do have, in my opinion, the best technology to be able to sense these missiles and be able to shoot them down. So, like, digging through Twitter, I saw a post by Tim X94 talking about kind of Catsy's take on this, and AST SpaceMobile's Bluebird capabilities for this, especially in the context of missile defense and a partnership with L3 Harris, look very, very potential to happen. So these Bluebirds are equipped with the largest phase array antennas in orbit, uniquely tuned to connect directly with unmodified mobile phones. Nothing new chipsets needed, nothing else. It can track and know where things are. And none of the other direct-to-device players can match this technology. And their technology is years behind. And we're already having these satellites up with a lot of launches planned. The government, especially the Trump administration, isn't going to want to wait for a satellite company to catch up when there's something right in front of them. Bluebirds are likely the most advanced and sensitive commercial phased arrays currently in space. If they can detect a low-power mobile phone signal from orbit, it's entirely feasible for engineers to adapt that tech to detect missile launchers or other high-speed threats. As simple as that. And right on our website itself, AST talks about its PNT capabilities. And this is huge because it's offering potential solutions for tactical ways to be able to track missiles. And this is on our website. So this is already like a use case that we know works, because the ASTS team wouldn't just be like posting about this. Hey, so we can connect to phones, bring service anywhere, and also we can do this. So they're highlighting this right on their website. And this combined, and we also have like a partner with Fairwinds, who's a U.S. prime contractor, and they're already working with us to see how we can get the military and law enforcement agencies using this spectrum. And I think just the fact that we already kind of have this stuff in place is going to make that huge difference. And like the potential of what this can bring in for eyes on us and investors and revenue will truly be life-changing. And I'm not saying this is going to happen, but it's something to keep an eye out and a very kind of fun theory to follow. So next up, we're going to hit the FirstNet partnership. Talk a little bit about this and why this will also help AST immensely. So last week, we saw that approval from the FCC has been granted to FirstNet to be able to test AST SpaceMobile satellites. And with this partnership, they are partnered with AT&T already, but in terms of with us, it's great to see them working with us because they have 7 million users. So just like that, with just one FCC filing and no official documents being signed or anything, as far as we know so far, we just added 7 million additional users, which is just great because that's 7 million more people that will most likely be paying for the service, because for FirstNet, their main goal is to provide emergency support. So it's crucial for them to be connected everywhere. They can save so many lives with this technology. So once they do introduce this package, I think it would just be included in most of all of the packages, because why offer FirstNet if it's not a package where you can connect anywhere in the world? That kind of defeats the purpose, especially for fighting forest fires. If you're in the middle of California fighting fires in the forest, like miles and miles away from anything, you probably don't have service. And it makes it harder to communicate what's going on. It makes it harder to relay to your family if you're okay. It makes it hard to find people. Like, say people are trapped in the woods. How are you going to track them if they don't have service and you don't have service during a fire? There's no really way to do so. So in this filing, we kind of stated that public safety agencies are going to be trialing this later this year. So I believe once we do have some of these more satellites up, some of these emergency responses will start to trial this and use it. And the way I love the way AT&T kind of is running this marketing campaign, kind of geared towards SpaceMob, where they announced it using a bunch of red A's, like, hey, we have big news. FirstNet is officially going to be testing, shout out FCC. And just even looking at the engagement on this, like 130,000 views, 1,000 likes, 100 replies. And then you go to their page and just look at like a random tweet, like the one here where they're talking about free Wi-Fi to American Airlines. That has like 40,000. This post here talking about, like, if you just scroll on their page and see any other posts about anything related to AT&T, some that have like 10,000 views. But when they do post about ASTS, 50, 100,000. So I think they're aware of the implications here. And them with FirstNet being able to see this is going to be huge. And I think this just puts up amazing positive public and private sentiment. So all these private industries, wow, FirstNet's huge. 7 million users are trusting this to be connected anywhere. This is going to lead to more emergency responders anywhere in the world either joining FirstNet or signing up to a service on AST so they have this service. Then it was really cool to see like on LinkedIn some of the FirstNet execs and AT&T execs hype this up. And I think that's one thing that we've seen with a lot of these big news catalysts that have been coming to AST. You go on LinkedIn and you see all these people, big CEOs at these companies, just posting, because like a lot of these people are older people. They've been in the business for 50 years. And they're seeing this technology roll out, and they're posting about it because they honestly can't believe it, and they want to like boast how amazing this service is going to be. So I think it's extremely bullish that these top execs in these billion dollar companies are just openly posting, wow, this is amazing. This is going to like change lives and completely change the capabilities for the missions that FirstNet requires. And with FirstNet, hopefully a definitive agreement comes, because it would really be cool to see us sign something specifically with FirstNet versus like doing it through the AT&T partnership, because this just establishes more. We can get some funding. FirstNet plans to spend billions of dollars, and with a partnership as good as AST and our capabilities, I think some of that money should and will be allocated to us. So Rakuten CEO Mickey Mikitani, this is like my new favorite guy, because like when other companies, AT&T, Verizon, Vodafone, they did our tests and stuff, like yeah, it's cool, but they didn't have like a whole full-blown conference in front of a full theater, giant screen showing our Bluebird satellites. Like while watching that, I just got chills, because it just shows you like how proud Japan and Rakuten is of this technology, and they're showing it off on stages, which is just so cool. And the CEO even did a live indoor satellite call. Like what? It's literally revolutionary what we're seeing right now. Like we're seeing new things every week that have never happened before. That's why this talk is so exciting. Like he literally called it the Apollo program for the mobile industry. So he views this is reshaping the industry into ways we have never seen before. And I can't go too much further without talking about his jacket. I need that jacket. I want, like the way it was like Rakuten, AST, Japan patch, America patch. I'm so bullish. This dude's out there on a stage in front of a giant audience streaming. He has over 1 million followers on Twitter, and he's just up there just boasting this technology, saying how amazing it is, talking about all the capabilities. He knew everything. And it's just amazing to see him that devoted, and he knows where this is going to go. And just the fact that this was like a full company presentation, it's rare for a company of that size, and it just really tells their confidence. They're confident in this tech, and they want to show it off. And I'm all for that. It's so exciting seeing Mickey up there in his AST bomber jacket. Like, sign me up. Sign me up for whatever this guy's promoting. I don't care what it is. But if it's something I'm invested in, I am a lot more happy. So off of that, we're just going to do a little quick summary kind of about the stock price. Stock price in this market, with we've seen about the tariffs flip-flopping every other day, it seems. There are our rocket launch from India, which is only launching one, maybe delayed another month or two. So on Monday, like they cause it to fall like 12%, and then the market turns around. Now it's right back where it was. So I think a lot of this is like AST does good, has good news. Market completely just dumps on itself and nosedives. So these stocks that don't have revenue and are speculation stocks, when the entire market falls, they just get drawn down. It doesn't really matter how good it is. It doesn't even really matter the recent announcements, because the market's just in sell everything, algos. Like SpaceMob isn't selling. I've talked to so many people invested in this, And it's almost hilarious. I have not heard of one person selling. I haven't even heard of anyone wanting to sell within, I don't know, 5 or 10 years, because we know where this is thing should be. And I think that when like the stock does fall like this, I think a lot of SpaceMob is very chill. Like you watch the Palantir community, hims and hers, like the stock falls 10-20%, people start freaking out. People get scared. With us, with SpaceMob, it's like, oh, AST's back around $20, I'm going to buy. Like on those days where it's around $20, you have everyone posting. You have Anpan Man. You have all these people replying, yeah, buying the dip. I'm buying the dip. Because how can you not? Like a company like this, valued under $10 billion, is probably the best stock buy ever, in my opinion. Not financial advice. But like we know what this thing can be worth. And like the Golden Dome might cost $27 billion. Not saying that we're going to get all of that, but it just shows you AST being at $6 billion right now does feel extremely low for where we can be at. And I'm not going to be one to complain about that ever, because if it stays at $20 for a year or two, which I don't think it will because how much is coming soon, but it just gives you the opportunity to get paid from work, buy some AST. It's just becoming like a hobby at this point. AST dips, get a few shares. And it's not even like you have to be buying thousands and thousands of shares. If it dips, throw in $50. It's a lot better buying when it's in the 20s than eventually when you're buying one single share for 50. So at least now you can get two. So ScotiaBank, I love their reporting on AST so far. It's probably my favorite. Really in-depth reports. They're seeing revenue avenues that other people have not been pointing out. And in their report where they reiterate their I think it's a $42, $44 price target, right at the bottom, they say, like, we love where this is headed. Buy ASTS on weakness. And like after seeing that, I really thought about it for a while. I was like, I've read a lot of upgrade reports in my life, but like I've never just seen them just come out so straight and say, yeah, buy this on weakness. Because I assume that's what they're doing. And a big bank like that knows it's not going to stay this low for now. So essentially they're trying to help us shareholders buy AST on weakness, sit, wait, forget, follow the company, watch them execute. In a few years, we'll see where we're at. But I do think that is all for the week here. ASTS is just going to be a keystone player in the communication world and the defense world. And when I was going to bed last night, I really thought about this, that like this thing has been branded as this communication device that works with AT&T Verizon, where you can be connected anywhere. But once you see like these government officials start visiting and this big Golden Dome project being proposed, it's like, yeah, we knew this had defense capabilities. But now it's like this thing could be like a split. Like, bam, commercial services, bam, government services. Like 50-50 in terms of revenue. And I was reading a lot about SpaceX, and it seems that is how they started and were able to get their whole constellation up because they got some early government contracts. With ASTS, we already have the funding and the parts to get almost full connectivity, at least here, Europe, and Japan. So we don't really need to rely on government contracts, but since we're grinding so hard and have some of these giant, biggest low orbit satellites ever up, I think it just makes us such a prime character where I wouldn't be surprised if in the future we do see like a split company like this. And I think that's very interesting because up until now, it's like when I explain this to people, it's like, okay, the first thing you go to, yeah, you're going to be able to take your phone, connect it anywhere in space, bada bing, bada boom. But now as like the defense buzz just keeps unfolding, it's hard to ignore. And the thing about the government is they have money to spend, especially that will keep us safe. So it's going to be an interesting ride. I appreciate you all tuning in. We're going to keep these up, and we'll see you guys later, Space Mobbers. You guys have a good week. Let's hope for some more exciting news, and let's hope that Golden Dome announcement comes within the next few months, because that will kind of be the point, I think, of no return for the stock, because that would be just this is one of Trump's like most pride programs that he wants to introduce. It's like true American safety. So it'll be game over before it even started if we were to secure some of this. And I'm going to leave it at that. You guys have a great week, and we'll stay in touch.